Alright people, we're quickly gonna go do some food shopping, and I'm gonna show you the meals I have in a week. I thought it'd be a little bit more interesting than just doing a full day of eating, because my breakfasts tend to be very similar. So that means the start of every video is somewhat like one of my 5 or 6 meals I have. So I'm gonna try and include maybe about 3 or 4 different days. Not every single meal that I have every single day is like super bodybuilder type meals. Some of them are a little more balanced. I try and still hit them all like high protein meals, but they're not like super over the top where it's just broccoli and rice, that kind of boring stuff. Sometimes I'll make sea bass with sweet potato fries, or maybe even having like veg, something like this. So that is what I'm going to kind of show you guys today. So hopefully you enjoy it. If so, hit with a double tap because I highly appreciate it. Plus it's like showing you real stuff. A lot of you always ask me like, can you eat chips? And of course you can. You may have often seen me make my own from scratch, which is like sweet potato fries that I chop up and then do that. But there are some oven chips that you can get from the frozen area, which is half decent, which I'm going to show you guys in a second when we get there. Alright people, so what we're going to do now is show you like a quick, well basically it's going to be healthier fish and chips. So those of you that love going chip shopping from England. So basically we've already got the cod, which you saw. We're going to have, I always have about this full packet, which is 260 grams of cod. And then these chips are the newbies I recommend. Those of you that like having chips without like the super high calories from the chip shop, these are good. They're properly thick, they're nice and crinkled as well, they taste good. And if you just compare this to like french fries you buy, like these ones, there is quite a difference in the calories. 100 grams of this one cooked in the oven is 227 calories. Bearing in mind they're super thin. Now these are like tiny fries, and there's barely any potato in the side. It's basically just like crisp. If you've had fries, a lot of them, these little tiny thin ones, there's really no real potato inside it. Now you got these thick ones, and 100 grams of this one cooked is 175 calories, so this is quite a jump. And I believe these ones being thicker, and they do taste pretty good. I can vouch for these on taste. They taste pretty damn good. They have similar levels of protein. This has like about 0.8 grams more protein, but you're not eating this for protein, are you? You're eating it to like simulate having chips at a chip shop. So what we're going to do now is actually cut into me actually cooking this stuff, and then obviously show you the other meals I've cooked throughout the week. I just wanted to quickly show you guys in the store what you can actually pick that's really good. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the kitchen. Alright people, so we're back in the kitchen. So I'm going to dish out my portion of the fries, with the chips sorry, and then I'll put on the fish just so you can kind of see it. So I'm going to weigh them out. Anyways people, here we go. So we've got the chips here and the cod. Bearing in mind the main aim of this meal is still having high protein but still have a little bit more balance, because not every day do you want to chop up sweet potatoes or eat a whole bunch of vegetables. So this will be a basic meal I'd have when I'm in sort of a lazy vibe, but I still want to have something that's fairly high protein. This will roughly come up to around 600 calories, and in terms of protein it's quite a lot because it's 260 grams of cod. So you got to think, if this was the chip shop now, if this was fish and chips, you're probably looking more closer to maybe 900 to 1000 calories, and the protein will be dramatically reduced because the cod you get in the chip shop obviously isn't as full as this, and it's mainly batter. They give you a tiny bit of fish in the middle, but the coating is just super crunchy and it's just oil and fat. So that is something you can have as an alternative. What is good people? So what I'm going to show you right now is a meal that I love to have, which is the bacon bagels that I love. So they're roughly around 300 calories depending on if I use a whole egg or just egg whites. Today I'm going to use a whole egg just because I've started doing that more frequently. It adds the calories up a little bit, but an egg is such a great source of protein. Like, it's a really high quality protein source in the yolk. So yeah, I'm going to have a bacon egg bagel. It's a meal that I have for breakfast, or I may even have it any point in the day as a snack, because it's not very high calorie, but it's very tasty. Alright, we've got our bacon and eggs. When it comes to the bagels, you don't necessarily have to toast it. I just like it being a bit warm, it just kind of tastes better. Often when I make these foods, people ask me about timelines of how long it takes. This whole meal realistically is a very fast one. The longest thing to cook is the actual bacon. So if you preheat the pan and you start spraying it, the bacon can probably cook both sides because it's pretty damn thin in probably about 5 minutes, and then you add the eggs near the end of it, not at the beginning, and then you more or less just cook it. You just leave it on the pan until everything looks kind of cooked. If you want a mini hack for sort of volume, if you have like a lid, I would put it on the pan. What that does is when you add the eggs and egg whites, it allows them to kind of puff up and they become more fluffy, and for that reason it becomes more voluminous, so you feel more full when you're eating it. It's still the same amount of food, the same amount of calories. However, when it puffs up and looks fuller, more bites, it kind of like makes you feel more full, because it basically makes it go from like a small amount to a lot larger. So as you can see, it's pretty full. Like the amount that I always cook, it never ever will fit in a bagel, because obviously I like more volume of the food. So I always have eggs and usually maybe at least one slice of bacon on the side. But I've tried to cram it all in the bagel. Actually, it looks really tall, simply because it looks better, just to show you guys. But this is what I'm going to eat right now. I'm going to have the real calories and macros back on the screen. Anyways people, I'm going to eat this right now, so stay tuned for whatever next day. Literally the meals I'm going to do is going to be spread out throughout any sort of week, just to show you the foods I eat in a week, and not every single meal is going to be super high protein or super gymmy. It's just real foods that I eat scattered out. Just remember, the key thing when it comes to any diet, you need to enjoy it and you need to sustain it. If you hate what you're eating, you will not continue doing it for long, and as soon as you quit, then obviously you're just going to revert backwards. So it's all about updating your diet. It's almost better to eat 70% clean year round than for 2 months or 3 months just eating 100% clean, because, well, most of the year you've not progressed, have you? Because you've gone back. So that is the mentality you need to have. Not everything needs to be perfect. You just need to be perfect enough that you can see progress and still maintain it. Yeah, that was deep. That was deep. That should be printed on a t-shirt. Anyways people, I'm going to eat this food and carry on. See you guys for the next day. Hopefully you enjoy these videos. Peace! What is good people? Carrying on with this kind of thing. I've shown you various meals I have throughout the week. This is a meal that I have that's not technically high protein, but I still have it. Those of you that watch my full day videos probably know what it's going to be. All bran as the main staple in the meal, so obviously I fill the bowl with this. Usually around 40 grams of all bran, and then I normally choose some sort of topping to put in it. Bearing in mind I have warm cereal with almond milk, so I have this with the all bran and then some sort of topping to make it a bit more crunchy and tasty. So whether that is blueberry wheat or simply some sort of granola. Granola is going to be much more higher calorie, so at the moment, to be honest, I've been sticking with the blueberry, because not every meal are you trying to fight to try and get high protein. Sometimes it's all about balance, you know what I mean? Obviously the more higher protein meals you have in a day, the easier it's going to be to hit your goal without having to have some sort of supplement like a whey protein. But some days it's just good. Especially if you're someone that doesn't go to the bathroom regular, you probably should go at least once a day. So something like having high fiber foods is going to help. But yeah, we haven't got to go into this too long. This is going to be warm cereal, which is what I have. I have it for breakfast sometimes, I have it for lunch, I have it for supper. I'll have it any time of the day. Alright peep, today what we're going on for this new thing, Korean came across this vegan plant-based bacon. For the vegans that always message me, will you ever go vegan? Chances is not, but I will say this does taste like bacon. The only thing is it's pretty salty. But anyways, we're going to make it right now just because it's been bought. I will say in terms of calories and macros, it's pretty good. So this full packet here is roughly around 166 calories and around 26 grams of protein. So that would be quite filling, because that would be a full pack. So I'm probably going to cook at the moment around 100 grams, which is 95 calories. And 15 grams of protein. I'll have that with some eggs. I'm also going to have with 2 bacon medallions. Alright people, somewhat quick meal just done. It's basically a huge egg scramble again, just with the bacon bits in it along with the bacon. I did originally plan to put it inside the bagel, but to be honest, it's too much. It's just not going to fit in the bagel. What I'm probably going to start back doing when I do these bigger egg scrambles, because the egg whites kind of just puffed out a bit more than I thought. Was probably go back to having like just the big wraps I used to have, like tortilla wraps, so then I could just kind of like wrap the whole thing in it and just eat it like almost a breakfast wrap. So yeah, that is the meal here. I purposely aim to use cinnamon bagels as well to try and have something a bit more sweet to counteract the really salty bacon bits. Macros right here. I'm going to estimate roughly around 380 to 420 calories. In terms of protein, because I use the whole egg as well, not just egg whites, I'm going to say around 40 grams. I feel like they should be around that sort of realm. So yeah, it's still fairly low calorie as well. Because if anything under 500 calories, I will class as a low calorie meal in my opinion. Anyways, people, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this kind of vibe, just showing you various meals, whether it's breakfast, dinner, or whatever, let me know and I'll be sure to keep doing this consistently.
Make $1 million cash for you flatline. Make a master plan, watch it backfire.